So this video is going to show you a word that has been modified and touched up and really straightened up using a ruler, and then the vanishing point is on the left-hand side. So once again, I'm going to be using my ruler, but now all of my lines are going to be done with the ruler as well. And they're going to show the left-hand side primarily of each letter. So once again, I'm still going to check all of my outer curves. I'm going to check all of my corners. So everything else on the P that I notice will actually start inside of the letter. So I'm going to line my ruler up and draw that line nice and parallel with the front. Darken sort of the size of the diagonals that I need. And then erase the diagonal portions that I do not need. I'm going to do the same thing on the H. Use my ruler, connect that back behind the P. Connect this one behind the P. This top one on this side would start inside of my letter, so I'm not going to draw that. Both of these would start inside the letter, so I'm not going to draw those. These two I will check. That one is even with the edge. And this one starts inside the letter, so I'm not going to draw that. And then this one is going to go down toward the vanishing point. This one is going to go up toward the vanishing point, which then means I'm not going to see the top because this one goes down, and I'm not going to see the bottom because this one goes up. So now I'm going to use my ruler once again to close off with parallel lines to the front, darken the diagonal, erase the diagonal that I do not need, and then this one is going to all connect across on either side of the middle part of that H. And then I can erase those diagonal lines I do not need anymore. And you'll see that this O I have done very geometrically, simply to give you that option of using an O that is more square or rectangular if you choose. Diagonal lines back to the vanishing point. Again, back to the vanishing point. And once again, this one goes up a little bit and this one goes down a little bit. So I'm not going to see the top and I'm not going to see the bottom. I am going to use my ruler to create a nice parallel side closure here. And then erase the diagonal bit that I do not need. And then on the inside here, I would check with the vanishing point. That one might come back a little bit. This one comes level. So I know that from here it's going to come down. And then it would technically go across right here. So you're not going to see a whole bunch of this part, but you are going to see just a smidge of the bottom of the top part of the O there. Hopefully you guys can see that a little bit. And then on my N, once again, vanishing point, corner, draw that line, vanishing point, corner, draw that line since it's outside the letter. This one would be inside the letter, this one would be inside, this one would be inside. Inside once again, check this corner, draw that line back, this corner, draw that line back, and then close that N off with lines that are parallel. I can make it go behind the O if I want, or I can make it be thinner and not overlap with that O. Either way is perfectly fine. And once again, that diagonal line goes up a little bit to the corner, so I will not see the top. And it comes down a little bit to this corner, so I will not see the bottom. Going to bring this line in so that it is parallel with this one. Again, it goes up, so I'm not going to see the top. And then this line is going to be parallel to the corner, the diagonal part here. And then I can erase those lines that I don't need anymore. So as you will see, when you work with more rigid letters, it does become a little bit easier. simply because you have more sort of hard, fast, defined edges to use and more corners instead of curves. But I do not want you to pick straight edged letters just because they are easier. If it makes more sense with your visual pun, then by all means, definitely use them, but do not use them just because they are easier. So again, that one comes up and this one comes down. We're not going to see the top or the bottom of that E. But we are going to see a little bit here because as you can see, this is the only corner that we will see a bit of that line going back. But it's such a thin part that I'm just going to leave it as that is. So then that is a pretty short, pretty quick video. But that does show you how to use straight edges on words and letters to use your vanishing point that is on the left-hand side to show the left of each letter and potentially some top or bottom, because if this word, for instance, were further down, it would be to the left and below the vanishing point, and then we would see the left-hand side and the top. If our word was above the vanishing point and to the left, we would see the left-hand side and the bottom. But because on this example, our word is directly to the side of the vanishing point and the vanishing point is directly on the left, we're just going to see the left-hand side. And I did forget this little bit here because we will see this curve is going to show us the inside, like left-hand side of this part of the P. Forgot that little bit. But basically, because your vanishing point is directly on the left, you only see the left. On this one, because our vanishing point is primarily below, we're going to see mostly the bottoms of everything, but then some of the letters are a little further to one side or the other, and we may see some of those sides as well. And then once again, on this example, you've got your vanishing point directly above, so you're going to see mostly the tops of things. But then again, because you do have some words or letters that are a little bit more to one side or the other, you will see some of those sides like we do on the M and the N. And then on most of my other examples, you can see sides, bottoms, some sort of combinations thereof because the vanishing point is diagonal. It's to the side and the bottom, or to the side and the top. I tend to prefer the side and the bottom, obviously, without really realizing it. And then this example, again, vanishing point is only on the right. So we're going to see mostly the right-hand side of each of these letters. And this example is not very far along yet, but has some sort of wonky, fun letters and a vanishing point on the bottom and to the right. So we're going to see the bottom, and we're going to see the right-hand side of most of these letters, like you have here and on the T. And then I will do another video just of working on some of those other letters without explaining what I'm doing, just so you have something to kind of watch in case you just need a visual cue.